I get emotional because I feel like I'm the giver usually, and I feel like because of my job I'm always the one like exerting energy, and one of the rare times that I feel completely taken care of is with you. And sometimes I like go home and I have like a, oh my God, I just got so taken care of, and I get like emotional.
The following podcast is a Healthy Dog production. Welcome to the Healthy Dog Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nigma Talib. I'm a leading naturopathic doctor now for over 20 years, and I've consulted thousands of patients with chronic illnesses. I've had clinics all over the world, and I have a #1 bestseller, Younger Skin Starts in the Gut. Listen, I know there's a lot of health information out there in the health and wellness world, and it can be a bit overwhelming. So I'm here to set the record straight and give you my expertise along with my expert guests here in studio in sunny Los Angeles.
I only take drugs with other people who take them on a regular basis because I don't have time for that.
A lot of chronic diseases stem from mitochondrial dysfunction.
Yes. And you know what I love talking about, right? Poop.
Yes. You can ask me about my poop?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about poop.
Okay, please.
This podcast is your go-to for achieving optimal wellness, from the best of beauty and longevity and everything in between, because after all, wellness comes from the inside out. My next guest is one of my dream guests, and she's also become a dear friend. She's a storyteller, actress, producer, activist, sports team owner, and all-around force of nature. On top of that, she's absolutely hilarious. Her first feature film, DOIN IT, is in theaters now. Say hello to Lilly Singh.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here.
I am so thrilled that you're here, and thank you for making the time.
Of course, I would rather be nowhere else with you and with Dante, who is cuddling me and giving me all the love right now.
He's doing his Reiki.
Exactly.
That's part of his
and
job.
I'm receiving. I'm so happy to chat with you because I feel like we see each other so often, but we don't really always get to have like an in-depth conversation, I feel.
Yeah, no, and you've been one of the people that I've been always wanting to interview, even before I knew you.
Really?
Just because your voice is one of the most strongest voices in the Southeast Asian community, and me being of Indian descent, I've always looked up to you for representing.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, I'm so thrilled to be here.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, first of all, congratulations on your first feature film, DOIN IT.
Thank you.
Am I correct in you produced it, you co-wrote it, and you were also the main actress in the film, like
Yes.
Maya?
It's the first time I've done all three of those things. So it's the first time leading a film, first time writing a film, first time producing, and actually it's my production company's first film as well. There's a really big deal, a lot of firsts with this one.
It's like a virgin.
Literally.
Just like Maya.
Literally. It's like I lost my film virginity. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true.
She's no longer a virgin. We can't sing that Madonna song anymore.
Right, exactly. So it's about, to give context, it's about a 30-year-old virgin, Maya, who I play, who finds herself teaching sex ed. So she has no experience with sex. She has no idea what she's doing, but she's now in this high school having to teach these kids and inevitably having to learn. Oh, sorry, Dante just cuddled me and I got distracted. Inevitably having to kind of learn and unlearn things about her sexuality, about her body. And it's a raunchy sex comedy in the vein of a lot of the ones I grew up with, like American Pie or like 40-Year-Old Virgin, but it looks different. You know, there's a South Asian woman at the lead of it.
Yes.
It's female focused. I feel like most sex comedies are very male centric. This one is not. And the virgin is not the butt of the joke. You know, this is not about, oh, she's going to lose her virginity and now be normal.
Yeah.
It's about a woman unlearning shame.
Which is so important, the message, because I've seen it now a couple of times.
How many times have you seen it?
Twice.
I love that.
I
Thank
am
you.
Clearly shameless.
I know. I appreciate the support.
I just had such a chuckle, and I don't think we're ever going to look at blending protein shakes the same again. And I'm not going to spoil it for everyone out there that's listening to this podcast. Right. So you're going to have to go and watch it to know what I'm talking about.
There is a OMG moment for sure that happens with a mom, a protein shake, and a vibrator. You figure it out.
And you know what? Your parents were sitting behind me.
Correct.
And at the premiere. And I was just the whole time thinking, I can't believe Lily's parents are sitting here and watching this. And I was just like, had this moment of like, then I'm like, this is the whole point. You know what I mean? Is like, it's like we have such shame around all these conversations. And so I thought it was brilliant. It added there was a message behind it. And right now, I think we need to laugh more than anything else.
Totally. It's interesting you say that because I've been working on this movie for 7 years. And
I didn't know. 7 years.
7 years.
Was that 7 years ago? Was that like filmed 7 years ago?
No. The first time I ever saw a draft of the script was 7 years ago.
Okay. When did you film it?
Filmed it around 2 years ago in
Okay.
Toronto. But when you're doing a sex comedy, especially when you're doing one that has a South Asian woman, and the reason I keep saying South Asian woman is the lead is because it is important. Because I'm operating from a culture, like many other cultures around the world, where sex is really taboo. I mean, I think in most cultures it's taboo.
It is.
I know in South Asian culture it's extremely taboo, especially if you're a woman. And so I knew that there was going to be some mixed thoughts about it, Like, we really went there in the movie. We tried to not play it safe. We tried to really push the boundaries because I thought the worst thing we can do is try to address this taboo subject, but, like, not go far enough and kind of play it safe. And so, for the past year, as we've been prepping for this to release in theaters and prepping with the idea that my parents are going to see it and the world is going to see it, I had to really spiritually and mentally prepare myself for half of the people being probably really seen by this and really seeing themselves and really resonating with it, which has happened.
Right.
But also inevitably some people being like really upset by it, which has also happened.
Has it?
Well, I posted a video to promote the movie where my parents react to a scene of the movie and I record their reaction.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, when I posted that video, I was so taken aback by how much love there was, but how many people were so angry. And it's interesting to me because obviously my parents are going to watch the movie. Like, there's no world where my parents are not watching a movie I worked on for 7 years, right? And so I was like, everyone's going to ask me how they reacted. Everyone's going to ask me what they thought. So, like, let me film a reaction.
Right.
So I asked their permission. I was like, can I film this reaction? And they were like, of course, yeah, sure. Did not force them to film a reaction. So, there's this masturbation scene and my mom and dad are watching and reacting. And the comments that really highlighted to me why we need this movie is the people who were angry for a very specific reason. And it was, it's one thing to show this to your mom. How dare you show this to your dad? How dare you talk to, like, your dad about this? How dare you? Basically what they're saying is a man shouldn't have to tolerate seeing his daughter like this. And some of the other comments were, this is not what our culture is supposed to represent. So it was very much so tying this idea to be a good girl is to be an Indian girl. And this is something I've battled my whole life, where, like, to be an Indian girl means it's synonymous with a good girl, and there's very prescribed definitions of what that means.
I get that.
And for me, I think that's why this movie is so important, because if you look at our community, like all other communities, like, sexual abuse is a huge issue. Women not feeling empowered in their bodies is a huge issue. Consent is a huge issue. Domestic violence is a huge issue. And so when I'm seeing comments like that, what I'm thinking is, like, you should want nothing more than your daughter to feel empowered to talk about what she feels comfortable with, talk about her body, talk about sex, especially with men. Because that's how you get rid of all those dangerous dynamics and circumstances, right? So all this to say, this is my long-winded way of saying,
Wow.
I really did have to spiritually and mentally, like, deal with a lot of energy and opinions, but I really was like, I believe in this so much and I think it's important, so I'm just gonna take it and it's fine.
I want to share something that could literally slow down how you age, inside and out. Let's talk about hyperbaric oxygen therapy, or HBOT. You've probably heard of it being used for athletes or wound healing, but what you may not know is the latest research is showing powerful benefits for cellular regeneration, brain health, and even reversing some biological markers of aging. Hyperbaric chamber works where you breathe in oxygen at higher than normal pressure. This process stimulates your tissues with oxygen and beyond what your body can normally get in. That extra oxygen jumpstarts your cells, helps natural repair processes, reduces inflammation, and boosts collagen production. It even stimulates the growth of new blood vessels. Studies have shown improvements in telomere length, which are kind of like protective caps on your DNA that shorten as you age. Longer telomeres, that's linked to healthier aging. If you're feeling the effects of aging, maybe it's slower recovery, brain fog, or skin that's lost its luster and glow, hyperbaric oxygen might be a powerful tool to help you feel sharper, stronger, and more vibrant. Go to oxyhealth.com, that's OXYHEALTH.com, and type in discount code HEALTHYDOC10 for your first order. No, I think that's really, that's what I got out of the film. And I wondered how different cultures and religions would react to this. And also, like, Hollywood, how is Hollywood going to react? Because this is so niche, according to Hollywood,
Yes,
right?
niche. My trigger word is, yes, niche, yes. I have a thing with the word niche, and that is because, listen, you saw the movie not once but twice, and for those listening, it's literally a sex comedy. It's about sex, which is a pretty universal concept.
Yes.
When I was growing up and I watched American Pie, I wasn't confused because there was no one that looked like me in it. I still understood what the movie was about, right? And I think there's this idea, and I'll speak just from a South Asian perspective, of Hollywood execs thinking if I'm the lead of something, if there's an Indian mom in it, or it's from the South Asian perspective, suddenly people can't understand it. Suddenly it's niche now, and like it's not relatable. And I think it does a disservice to two groups of people. One, the minority group that's trying to be seen.
Right.
And two, it discredits white people. In every theater I went to, because I went to a bunch of theaters and did Q&As and visited them, and every theater it was full of, there was a lot of white people in there, and I'd say, white people, raise your hand for me. And they'd raise their hand, and I said, did you understand this movie? And they go, yeah. And I'm like,
Wow.
Studio execs do not believe you can understand this movie, and they do not believe that you can feel seen through a character like me. And why that definitely irks me is because I came up from YouTube. I have over 3 billion views on YouTube of people who resonated with my content. Not all of them are Indian. A lot of them are white. A lot of them are black. A lot of them are all different types of Asians or from all parts of the world. And so I wish studio execs could understand this concept of like stories bring us together and you can still feel seen. And this whole idea of being niche is just BS in my opinion.
I couldn't agree more. It also surprised me when I read about you, because obviously I didn't know this. I did a deep dive, and that you have a background in psychology.
I do have a psychology degree, actually.
You have a psychology degree, and that makes a lot of sense. A lot of
Does it? Do tell me. Tell me how I use my degree, please.
I really think you have used your degree more than you actually know.
Really?
Everything you just talked about. The way you put it into words and trying to understand why is there such a divide from a psychological perspective.
Thank you so
Lily.
much. Because you know why? My whole life I'm like, that degree cost a lot of money. Don't know if I've ever used it, but I do get that a lot. That when people talk to me, they say, I can see your psychology degree. And that makes me thrilled. And my parents thrilled too, because they paid for it.
Yeah. Yes, Indian parents paid for your psychology degree, and it worked.
Yes, good. I'm glad. I guess I am very introspective like that. And I do think a lot about the mind, my mind, and people's minds. So I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
Why do you think there is such a divide? Why do
Specifically in this topic?
Yes.
Or in the world?
Basically with regards to learning about Indian culture, for example, if we're just talking about South Asian Indian culture,
right.
Why is that not, why is it so hard for that to be inclusive in Hollywood and, in the United States in particular?
Yeah.
Because we do have a big community here.
Right. I feel like there's a few things. And again, I won't pretend like I have all the answers, but I'll tell you from my experience what I think are some of the issues. One is inevitably, Hollywood is controlled still by people that all look the same. Like white men are in control of Hollywood for the most part. Here and there's little beacons of hope, the Issa Raes, the Mindy Kalings, there's a lot of amazing progress being made. But at the end of the day, I have a production company that pitches studios, and usually when I'm pitching people, for the most part, they're white. And that's not a negative thing, but I think the issue is like, if I'm telling a very nuanced story that I know people from my culture will resonate with, it doesn't always land with a group of white execs. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's this thing of proof over potential, which I talk about a lot, which is some groups of people, they are gauged through their potential. Mm-hmm. And so there can be 100 spy movies and 50 of them can fail, but they're not going to stop making spy movies because you're like, the white people making spy movies or whatever those things are, they're going to keep getting made because there's a lot of potential in that. There's a lot of potential in that.
Right.
However, minority groups have to operate through proving themselves. They don't get the privilege of their potential being viewed. They have to be gauged through their proof. And so that's why we see Sinners, the Barbie movie, One of Them Days, whatever movie from a minority group does really well, it's usually viewed as the exception. It's usually like, that happened, but that won't happen again. And so we have to prove ourselves over and over and over and over again because we're not viewed for our potential. And I think that's a huge issue. And so I'll also say I grew up in Toronto, Canada. I know, fellow Canadian.
Yes.
And growing up in Toronto, I can say I've had the privilege of traveling to most places in the world, and Toronto remains one of the most diverse cities on this planet.
It actually is,
You
yes.
can walk down the street and see every type of person. And so growing up, I never felt like I had to not be super proud South Asian, super proud. I
Sure.
grew up on a Bhangra team, the captain of a Bhangra team.
You what?
I was a captain of a Bhangra team for my whole upbringing.
Are you serious?
First movie I watched was Bollywood. In my school, there was every type of language. There was Tamil, there was Punjabi, there was Hindi, there was Gujarati, there was Jamaican Patois, there was everything. And then when I moved to LA in 2015, I did have a bit of a culture shock because I definitely didn't see many people that looked like me. I felt it was very black and white. Like there was a lot of white people, there was a lot of black people, and then there was like this gray area of other people that like generally people were unfamiliar with. When I moved to LA, the first time I mentioned Bollywood, someone asked me, is that similar to like Caribbean or close to Jamaica? The first time I said the word samosa, someone didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh dear.
When I mentioned the word Saudi, someone didn't know what I was talking about. And coming from Toronto, I was like, wait, what? Those are such common things. And so I think another issue in Hollywood is that I just don't think they understand Asian people, honestly. I think they understand black and white, and they're not even doing a good job with the black community, to be honest. They're getting better, but I think they just don't understand. I don't know if it's the education system here. I don't know if it's just like lack of the way immigrants have immigrated to this country, but like in Toronto, every friend I have, their parents are immigrants. Every single friend speaks a different language, eats different food. Their parents are immigrants. Then I moved to LA and people's parents were like from Ohio. And that's just, I guess, different the way immigration has happened. But I think there's just a lack of learning and valuing other cultures here, I feel. That is a little bit behind Toronto, I would say.
Excuse me, sorry. I just choked on
Vitamin C.
vitamin C. Okay, so you talked about that. Hold on, we're gonna pause for a second.
How pretty these cookies are. Oh my God.
Oh yes, this is a vitamin C cookie, and that's all my vitamin C is in there in the gel with passion fruit, and then this is collagen. And so please help yourself.
I do. I can eat these cookies, or am I going to ruin the set design?
No, you're not going to
ruin
the
because you know
set.
I'm the guest that's actually going to eat the cookie.
You have to
Does any
eat.
other guest eat the cookie?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well, actually, you're the first guest I'm having cookies with.
Really?
Because they finally perfected the recipe.
Really?
Yes.
I get to break the cookie virginity, then I'm absolutely having a
You're
cookie. I'm setting the precedent here for people to eat the cookies.
Eat the
I'm eating
cookies.
it. What is this flour?
So it's almond flour, and I did a
I can eat this flour?
Yes.
I can
It's
eat this
edible.
flour?
Yep.
Really?
Yes.
Does it taste like a plant?
It's good.
Really?
It does taste a little planty, but
It doesn't taste a little planty? I
Yeah,
don't have a
it's a
very good poker
decorative
face, so I
edible-
don't want to make a face on your camera.
okay. No, just
Okay.
let's see.
I don't eat the plant yet, but I'll get there.
How do you like the texture of the cookie? It's different because it's not gluten. There's no gluten. There's no sugar. There's no dairy.
I feel like the kombucha girl gave, where she's like, I feel like it's, for not having any of those things, it's actually really good. No,
Would you would you eat this as a
no,
cookie?
no sugar,
No sugar.
but it's so good.
I know. And well, it's got stevia in it because it has the vitamin C
I'm
powder
gonna eat the plant
mix.
now. You ready?
Okay, I'm
gonna eat it.
curious as to
Basically
what.
sabji for everyone.
Eat one with you.
Yeah, tastes divine. Wow, and this has vitamin C.
It's a good
it's
500
basically healthy.
milligrams. Yeah.
This is medicine, basically.
Right now, everybody's sick. So,
Not me.
knock on wood.
Not me. Vitamin C cookie with a plant on top. Oh, that was really good. Thank you.
How would you encourage a desi girl who's sitting in her living room or in her bedroom after she just came back from doing it, who has dreams, say she's in Toronto, she has dreams of wanting to be an actress and coming to Hollywood? What advice would you give her?
Now, I want to be responsible with this answer. Let me also get the cookie out of my teeth with some more vitamins. Let me get the vitamin C cookie out of my teeth with my vitamin
With
C
the vitamin
cocktail.
C, it's like double dipping.
You know, I get asked often what advice I would give people. If they want to, like a young girl that wants to act or wants to be in a creative field. And I feel a lot of responsibility to be inspiring, but simultaneously honest.
Okay.
I don't want to give a fluffy answer here where people are going to think that this is really easy. So I'll be really honest. I think it is absolutely essential for and again, I'll just talk about the South Asian community because I don't want to generalize. I think it's critical for more South Asian kids to get into the arts. And I know that's scary for Indian parents because fundamentally growing up, they didn't see that a lot.
You have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, a scientist, or a computer scientist.
And, you know, we make jokes about that a lot, but that comes from a really real place.
It does.
From our parents' behalf. It's because that's what they saw. That's what they know. That's how they understand survival and livelihood. Mm-hmm. And all they care about is their kids being able to pay the bills, put food on the table, be okay. Every immigrant parent, that's what they want. They may have strange ways of communicating that, but that is fundamentally what they want. They want to know that my kid's going to be okay. It's why they pressure us to get married. It's why they pressure us to go into certain schools and jobs. Will my kid just be okay? I worked so hard to come to this country. Will they be okay? That's all I want. That's why I did all this, so that hopefully they could be okay. So when I went and told my parents I wanted to make YouTube videos, their hesitation and confusion wasn't because they didn't want me to be happy. It was because they were like, how are you going to make money? I've not seen anyone else that has done this. I don't see anyone else on screen that looks like you. How can you believe that you could have a job out of this? So I understand all their concerns. However, I'm a big believer that stories, movies, TV shows, etc., is how we understand the world. It's how we understand ourselves. It's how we treat other people. How many people here listening or can think of an experience where you watched a TV show or movie and you're like, this has changed me in some capacity. Wow, yes. It's taught me about myself. It's made me feel better about something in my life. It's making me reflect on that relationship or that person I had a falling out on. It made me forgive this person in my life. Like, stories are really important to how we understand ourselves and how it shapes culture. If only a certain group of people shape culture, then culture doesn't serve everyone, right? And we see that with the way girls and women are treated. A lot of the ways around the world you see girls and women not being sent to school, being abused. If you look at stories historically and TV and movie shows, you can see a lot of why that is the way that is, how we've portrayed female characters, how we've treated those characters on screen. And so for those reasons, I think it's really important for all types of people to get into the arts. I will also say, as someone who has now done her first film, as much as you try to be diverse in front of the camera and behind, there are still many departments in filmmaking, in television making, where it is hard to find diverse people because the parents have not let their kids go into those fields. So if you want true diversity, parents, you gotta let your kids, if they are passionate about it and they're good at it, you gotta let your kids go into the arts. Hopefully I can be some level of proof that it is possible. Having said that, it is so hard. I will not lie. It is extremely hard. I am not the product of a viral video. I am not the product of like, I had a hit TV show and then everyone knew me. Every video I've made has gotten me subscribers. Every small role I've done has gotten me more opportunities. I've just chipped away, role after role, meeting after meeting to get to where I am. And I think I had the delusion that one day I would get to a place where finally I would not have to do that. Where like you make it and you're like, now I don't have to fight anymore. That never happens.
That doesn't happen.
It does not happen. And I actually don't think it happens for anyone. I know some incredibly successful people that are still like, till this day, I'm still clawing away and I'm still fighting. So what I will say is if you're that young girl in Toronto and you want to be an actress, I need you to ask yourself a few questions. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to do it? Are there reasons that will sustain you for a long time? Or is it just a temporary reason of like, I like the spotlight or I have this little face? You got to be willing to lock in for the long run. You have to be willing to fail 3,000 times to succeed one time. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone literally every day. In fact, one of the things I tell myself when I'm exhausted, I'm like, can you just have one day where you just do what's comfortable? Because every day I'm having a meeting that I'm nervous about. I'm doing a pitch that I'm nervous about. I'm going on stage and I'm nervous about that. I'm doing this role that I'm nervous about. I'm constantly in a state of, this is scary and I have to do it anyways. This is scary, I'm going to do it anyways. I don't know how to do that. I have to learn how to do that. I'm not good at that. I have to get better at that. I'm constantly in that zone. And so that takes a lot of mental bandwidth and resilience, I would say.
True wellness lives in the smallest details, the air you breathe, the water you wash with, and the surfaces you touch. That's why Koala Eco, with their beautiful botanical ranges for home, laundry, body, and even pets, is the only brand I trust. Elegant living without compromise. Visit koalaeco.com, that's KOALAECO.com, and use my code HealthyDoc15 for 15% off your first order. That is one of the best answers I've ever heard. And actually, I've seen you. I've watched you in action. You're of high integrity. You're always on time. You work very hard. Everything you do 200%, not 100%. You add that extra and it's ongoing. It's a hustle. And I think what people think about when they think about movie stars or actresses or singers, they think it's just all glam and fun and glitz, and it's hard work. Yes. And you have to keep hustling. You have to keep hitting that next level. And the minute you stop, you lose opportunities. You lose, so you have to be on top of everything. Nothing in life is easy.
It's not. And another thing is, and I don't want to make this a pity party for people who are, because my life is also great and I acknowledge that.
Yes.
But I do think that it is one of the jobs that people don't give a lot of grace towards.
They don't.
The second you're in the public eye, they're like, nah, you're not a human. But one of the best parts of this movie was when my dad was, the review video they did. I only posted like 2 minutes, but it was like a 20-minute conversation I had with them where they were telling me their thoughts about the movie. And one of the most meaningful things my dad said was, I have watched Lilly work on this movie, sure, for years, but I've been here in her house now for a few days. She has not slept more than 3 hours each day. I've seen her wake up, do meetings, do press all day long. Like, I think my parents also probably didn't realize how much work it was. And now they see and they're like, this job that so many people think is so easy, it is really not. It takes it's so many hours a day. There is no clocking in or clocking out. And another thing I'll say, which makes the job, and again, I don't want to make this a pity party, but I say my job is like 20% acting, writing, working, and business. It is 80% mental. It is also a job where almost every person that meets you thinks it's okay to criticize you, thinks it's okay to tear you apart, thinks it's okay to judge you, thinks it's okay to not give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
That just comes with the territory of
just
it.
because you're in the public forum.
Correct.
So you're honestly, you're vulnerable.
Right.
You're there for criticism. And that is true. I never thought of it like that.
And there's always this interesting switch, because I started on YouTube and I was the underdog. And people love an underdog. And a lot of people have wrote about this, that the second you're not the underdog anymore, it's like,
criticism.
People come for you. And I always find that so interesting because I'm like, when exactly was that moment? And when people say like rich people don't have problems or like famous people don't have problems, I always am tempted to ask them, what number is it that someone becomes like that to you? What is the paycheck number? What is the number of followers? Like, what is the gauge that you have in your brain where someone goes from they're the underdog to like, actually, I don't care about their feelings anymore? It's an interesting thing to ask yourself because it actually is a very reflective question. I've done it growing up. I'm sure I've looked at many celebrities and be like, what problems do they have? And I have to ask myself, like, what about that person made me feel like it was okay to do that,
It's interesting because the more also popular you become, the more you have to be secluded and protected because that energy, you can feel that energy coming onto you. I mean, how do you do it? Like, how do you, hustle? Where's your, what is your de-stressor? Like, what do you do? What's your wellness routine?
Yeah, well, let me first emphasize by saying there's a lot of challenges to the jobs. There's also a lot of perks and amazing things about the job. But what you're saying is correct in the sense of the more popular you get, the more you have to protect yourself. But ironically, the more popular you get, the more you actually need community. So those two things work against each other. The more I feel like I need community and I need friends to be there for me and I need to be in environments with other people in real life, the more I have to also protect myself. That is the unhealthy dynamic of being in the public eye, right? I take my mental health extremely seriously because I know what this job is. This industry is not for the weak. It is really not for the weak.
It's really not.
At any time, I have to be okay with someone saying whatever they want to say to me online. At any point, I can be told I have to do like a 17-hour day. There's a lot of things. Never being able to confirm or commit an event. My friend's getting married. I'm going to try to be there. I don't know for sure if I'm going to be there. I've missed a lot of things, a lot of family things. I miss my family a lot. I'm the only one that lives in LA. They all live in Toronto, So there's a lot of things, but I take my mental health extremely seriously. And when I first started in this industry in 2010, I think for the first 5-6 years, I was just like a young kid going with the flow.
Right.
And I experienced burnout. I experienced like depression. I experienced a lot of things. And I learned during that time, if you want to be in this industry and if you want to output as much energy as you output and you want to create art that the world will tear apart or love or both, you got to get right up here. And so I have a lot of rituals in life that I take really seriously. I'm an avid therapy goer. I go to therapy religiously. I love my therapist. We're like this. Wow. Before every major release, we have a session. After every major release, we have a session. We have a game plan of how I'm going to approach any big release like doing it. We have a game plan of like how to deal with certain situations. I try to journal almost every single day. I don't work for the first 3 hours of the day. I'm very rigid on that. So my team,
I love that.
My team knows they're not, unless there's an extenuating circumstance, like there's an India call in time zones, very rarely. My team knows they're not allowed to book anything before 10 on my calendar. So I wake up at 7. I have 3 hours that I am a human that's not just an actress and not just a writer. Because we turn into those things. Like, you're not just a doctor, you're a full human being, right? Yes. So 7, I wake up, I do my journaling, I do my tea, I do my stretching, I do my praying, do my meditation, I do all that stuff. Before I sleep, I do a self-compassion journal every night.
What does that mean?
That just means that I very quickly have a notebook on my nightstand, and very quickly I write 3 bullet points of how I showed myself compassion that day. And I know it sounds so cringe. I know if you're listening to this, you can be like, that is so lame. No. And I'm going to tell you, it's so lame. Because when I first started doing it, I used to make fun of myself. I was like, why am I doing this? This is so lame. But then within a few months of doing it, something actually changed in my brain. The reason I started to do a self-compassion journal is because I felt my expectations of everyone around me, including myself, were so unrealistically high. I had a really hard time giving people grace. Someone was late to my house, 20 minutes, had a hard time getting over it. Someone said they were going to show up somewhere and they didn't, even if they had a valid reason, hard time getting over it. Like, not giving people grace. And my therapist was like, it's because you don't give yourself grace.
Oh,
you treat yourself like that.
So interesting. But there is something about integrity. So like,
yes, I mean, that's where you find the balance.
You have to find
integrity
the balance.
Is your close friend didn't show up to something and they didn't message you. That's a lack of integrity.
Right.
Your close friend that has shown up for you 1,000,000 times but is 5 minutes late to this one thing.
Right.
That's grace.
Exactly. That's
you know what
grace.
I mean? And I couldn't distinguish between
the two.
Everything would be a mountain. Everything would be like, oh, they don't care about me. They came late. Oh, they don't care. So I was like, that's because that's how I treat myself. Wow. So all this to say, by tracking how I'm compassionate to myself every day, a really weird thing has changed in my brain where I was able to give people grace. Suddenly when people were like a few minutes late, I was like, I didn't even notice actually. Like, I started to rewire my brain to just give grace in general.
And that also calms your nervous system down, right? You're not always on eggshells and you know, sort of thinking things that people are doing and thinking about you and sort of giving them grace by giving yourself grace.
I like that you brought up the nervous system because this is a new thing. You know, I feel like we go through life and we're like, I have anxiety and I have this and I have all those things and all valid, but we don't discuss the nervous system enough.
Never.
It is really, what are the things that make you feel calm and make you feel wound up? And you actually taught me this a little bit because a few times when I come over to your place, you're like, just look at me and you're like, we got to calm your nervous system down.
Yes.
And I don't describe it that way. I just describe it as I had a tough day. You know, and when I say that, I think it kind of invalidates that there's an actual chemical, physical response happening that I'm not giving credit to.
Yes, it totally is. I mean, think about it. You have a sympathetic nervous system, which is an animal is chasing you. So at that very moment, you're not going to have to go pee or you're not going to be hungry. All your body is pushing all the blood to your muscles so you can run away from that lion, whoever's chasing you. That's a sympathetic mode. Then you have the parasympathetic mode, is what we're doing now. We're sitting on a couch, lazing around, having a chat, drinking vitamin C cocktails, chilling out. And that's like, you know, really chill. Some people, type A personalities would call it lazy, but it's what we need. So if we can balance that, and then if you're constantly in sympathetic mode where a lion is chasing you, that is something called a raise in cortisol, that hormone that can cause you to have fatigue, joint pain, muscle pain, autoimmune conditions. And so it's all about balancing that parasympathetic and sympathetic. There is something good about being in sympathetic mode because it makes you get the work done.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly there, your body is going to not know when it really needs to respond.
And I think that's a little bit of what's going on here. You're like, I'm not surprised. I know this already.
It's all of us, though. Right. It's all of us. We also live in a very crazy world where the minute you turn on the news, the minute you turn on scrolling through Instagram, that's raising your cortisol.
Yeah, I do often, all this to say, I do a lot of practice and rituals because I do feel like my default setting is what you just described. A lion is chasing me. Like, that's what I'm feeling. And you're right. It's tough because it helps me get the work done, and it has served me in my career for so long.
That's the problem,
That's the problem, because I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like, sure, my heart's going to explode, but look at all this work I'm doing. Look at all this work I'm doing.
And
so
I'm winning.
Right.
I'm getting through it, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy,
right.
you know?
So I'm trying to get better through all these things and through my upcoming hormone test that we're doing together.
I can't wait.
Trying to figure out how to not operate from that place all the time.
I think that's super important. I wanted to talk to you and transition to the soccer team.
Yeah.
Because I came to one of the matches and it was so much fun. What made you buy a soccer team?
Well, yeah, I'm part owner of Angel
part
City.
owner,
I mean,
yes.
no, but call me a bot. Yeah, I bought the team.
Whatever,
I bought the
you're
whole team.
a
The whole
boss.
team's fine. Yeah. I'm part owner of Angel City, which is the women's LA soccer team. And a lot of times when people hear that, they're like, you must have played soccer growing up. You must be an athlete. Could not be further from the truth. Dr. Nigma has been trying to get me to jump on a trampoline for 3 months, and I'm yet to do that still. I have it in my house. Literally, I bought it. Not jumped on it once.
You still didn't use it?
No,
okay,
see,
we'll have to
this
jump
conversation
together.
right here, exactly. So I was not an athlete, did not grow up playing soccer.
Yes.
I don't know any of the rules of soccer, to be honest. I don't know any of the rules of the game. I just have a blind rule about supporting girls and women. That is just why I feel like that is fundamentally intertwined with my purpose on this planet, is to support girls and women. And so when I found out that it was like, the women's soccer team and they're trying to change a lot of things about how female athletes are treated. And I've also had the privilege of traveling around the world and seeing the positive impact of sports. People don't realize they think sports are just fun and games. Sports is honestly the intervention in a lot of places.
Like a religion for some people.
But also it teaches girls life skills. It teaches them team building. It teaches them confidence. It teaches them how to stand up for themselves. I've been to some rural villages in India, I kid you not, where I've heard stories about this girl literally saved herself from a child marriage because her sports team came, and her being on this team changed her entire mindset around what she could do in life. Sports has a really big positive ripple effect in a lot of communities. And so I love to support especially women's sports for that reason. And so when it was presented to me, I was like, no brainer. I know nothing about soccer, but let's go, let's do it. And I try to go to every game, and every time people are like, so what are the stats? Where's the team at? What are the rules? I'm like, couldn't tell you any of those things. I just know which way we're running. And then I know at halftime it switches, and I'm here to cheer and I'm here to support. And then we out here.
It was I had such a good time.
Yeah.
And it really did feel like watching an all women's soccer team.
It's a really positive environment
really
too, for that
is,
reason.
yeah.
And I think, when you go to sporting events, for the most part, they can be kind of dude bro in that way. And I think what that environment teaches you, there's all types of people there. There's, young boys, there's older men, they're all cheering for these female athletes. And it has to show you, again, going back to niche, nothing is really niche. We're all able to support each other. We're all able to see different people doing different things and celebrate that. And so it's one of the most positive sporting environments I've ever been to in my life.
From PMS to perimenopause to menopause to postmenopause, I've lived through it all. And through every stage, one thing becomes clear. Hormone fluctuations change how our bodies regulate temperature, especially at night. When your body overheats, even slightly, it disrupts deep, restorative sleep. The kind of sleep your hormones, metabolism, and mood depend on. That's why I can't live without my Rani Lounge pajamas. Their advanced technology activates natural fibers, making the fabric moisture-resistant, naturally fresh, and ultra-breathable, allowing your body to stay cool and regulate temperature the way nature intended. Better temperature control means deeper sleep, better recovery, and a body that feels truly at ease. Whether at home or traveling, staying cool, fresh, and comfortable has never felt so effortless. Go to RaniLounge.com, that's RaniLounge.com, and use my code HealthyDog15 and get 15% off your first order and experience sleep the way it was meant to be. Okay, I want to go back to some of your wellness rituals.
Okay.
Tell me what your routine is morning to evening.
Okay, so every morning I try to wake up at 7-ish. And so I sleep with my blinds closed. I try to make my room as dark as possible. You taught me that. And so at 7, the blinds open, prayer music plays, and my lights all turn on. This is a real thing. And I have to remember to turn that off when I'm not home and someone else is staying at my house, because they get freaked out when that happens.
Oh my God.
But so at 7 o'clock, I have my phone across the room. So I don't sleep with my phone next to me. Of course, on a weekend or something, I might break that rule, flexibility and put it, but for the most part, my phone is across the room. And so I don't pick up my phone. I let that music play, and I just do a little bit of breath work in bed, cuddle the dogs before I get out of bed. Get out of the bed, deal with the dogs. I make myself tea. Now this is a new thing I just started doing. I used to have peppermint tea, but my friend Radhi, who is Jay Shetty's wife and who is an amazing Ayurvedic chef, taught me about CCFT, which is basically coriander, cumin, and fennel. And so I just had that for the first time this morning, but it's supposed to help with like inflammation and bloating and all those things. So I have my CCFT in the morning.
Okay.
I sit outside, same spot every day. I journal. One of my dogs cuddles me while I journal. The other one can't be trusted outside. So she's inside. I journal. I go inside, I stretch. I pray. Depending on what I have for the day, if I have hair and makeup or whatever the vibes are, I might work out a little bit. I make myself breakfast. And then I take a shower and then I start my work day. So I make sure that there's many hours before I start work, because I felt that for so many years of my life, waking up and like within minutes being in a meeting, it made me not feel like a human, or rather it made me feel like my only purpose was to work, and my only way I identified myself was through my work, because I never gave myself to be anything else, a chance to be anything else. So now I wake up and I acknowledge I'm a full human outside of work before I get into work. I work throughout the day, and I do jam pack my schedule for the most part. My team has full reign to like fill my schedule. So I'm doing an array of things. One thing that keeps me on my toes is my days always look different. I might be shooting, I might be doing a podcast, I might be doing interviews, I might be writing, I might be going to an event. You know, I might be traveling, whatever it may be. I have supplements that I'm very rigid about as well, that you've also helped me with. I take my supplements throughout the day. And then in terms of rituals, I'm a morning and night ritual. It's hard for me to maintain rituals midday because my schedule is so up in the air, but I try to maintain morning and I try to maintain night. Night is a self-compassion journal, like I told you. I also try my best not to watch things before bed, very close to when I go to sleep. I try my best to not doom scroll before I go to sleep. I'm very big on my sleep, because if anyone has followed me, they know I struggle a lot with sleep. And so I really try to not do anything to disrupt my sleep. Those are some of the like timed rituals, but I have other things in my life that I really believe in. So once a month-ish, this past month has been tough with the movie, I won't lie, but once a month-ish, actually I'm due for it this Sunday, I do a monthly reflection as well. So at the top of the year, I start my year every year by like listing out my goals. I do a reflection on my last year. I'll literally go through my entire calendar to be like, how did I spend my time? What are the things I did? Did I feel like that was a good use of my time? Did that fulfill me? Did that align with where I want to go in life? And I'll do a whole like evaluation. Based on that, I'll make goals for the current year. How do I want to spend my time? What do I want more of? What do I want less of? If these are my goals, am I spending my time in a way that actually aligns with that? Because a lot of times we have goals, and if you actually look at how you spend your time, you're like, I don't think I'm actually taking the steps towards achieving those goals, to be honest.
It's so true.
You know what I mean? We don't even realize that because we're just saying yes to a lot of things and we just go with the flow. But anyways, so top of the year, I made a bunch of goals. And so every month I open up that notebook and I look at my past 30 days and I evaluate it against my yearly goal to be like, am I on track? Have my goals changed? Do I still want those goals? Allowing some flexibility. But it's just like a time accountability thing I do every month to make sure I'm not just letting time pass, and I actually am really intentional with how I spend my time. And when I say this, I don't just mean this from a work perspective. I also mean this from a personal perspective. So in 2024, I was like, when did I have the most fun? Oh, when I did this, and this. So now I've mapped those things into 2025 to make sure I do them once a month. Every month I have a poker night. Every almost Thursday I have a dinner with someone. Every month I shall have a Bollywood movie night at my house, because those were the things that brought me the most joy in 2024.
I want to come to the Bollywood movie night. I love Bollywood movies.
So all this to say, the things that make me feel good, I really am intentional about making sure they're on my calendar amidst work. And so I do a monthly reflection every month. And right now when you're listening to this, you're going to be like, she is a nerd. And you're right. I am a nerd. And I love fellow nerds and I love it. And I'll give you one more, which is because you're going to think I'm a weirdo at this point. I have I've talked about this before, so if you've heard about this before, it might be redundant, but I have a lot of issues around being a control freak. Shocker. And to get myself better at like trusting the universe and realizing that, listen, there's some things that you do have to be a control freak about. I do believe that. In my job, there's some things where I'm like, I have to be involved in that. The movie, I have to be involved in it. It is my face on that poster. It is my writing. I have to make sure that there's integrity around this project. Sure. However, sometimes I get a little carried away. You know, does that mean at the premiere of the movie, I had to stay up all night deciding what the napkins were going to say? No, but I did. And so I get a little carried away sometimes. And so I have something on me every day in my pocket that helps me with self-control, being a control freak. and it is a die. And so I have a die in my pocket every day.
Okay.
And yes, to answer your question, it stabs me regularly. But the reason I have a die is because a friend gave it to me and she said, whenever there's a decision in your day where it's not the end of the world, because not everything is the lion chasing you, not everything is the mountain. If there's a small decision, just roll the die and see that even if you didn't make that decision, things are going to be okay. Small things like, I'm debating between these two places to eat. Which movie am I going to watch? I'm really debating calling this friend. I don't know if I should. I'm on the fence. Roll the die. Just roll the die, trust the die, and you'll see that you don't have to obsess over every single decision. You can obsess over some, but not all of them.
Where do you think this comes from? This needing to
freak?
control everything.
I think it's per my therapist, I think it's a defense mechanism, you know? It is me believing that if I control everything, then I can protect myself against everything. It is me trying to protect myself. Now, logically, my brain knows that, Lily, there's been many instances where you've tried to control things and you still were not able to protect yourself and still things went wrong. So logically, I know that's not true. But I think my nervous system, going back to it, feels like it is convinced that if I can control things, I can protect myself.
And that's really interesting for those listening to understand that, because a lot of people are like you. You know, they feel like they need to control everything. And the only thing uncertain, and that's the only thing uncertain is certain. You know, like what we don't know, we have this need to be certain about everything. And sometimes if you just flow through life, not worrying about that, it's, you know, life becomes easier, and life gives you more surprises. And, you know, do you like surprises, for example? Are you one of those people that...
Not necessarily.
See,
I'm getting better at it.
I'm like you that way, yes.
I'm trying to give myself grace in the sense of like, it is a false sense of control. It's not even real control. It is all a false sense of control, because we actually can't control many things. But I think for this has helped my nervous system in the sense where it's like, is there small ways you can get better at letting go? So now I feel like since doing this for so long, there are some things where I'm like, I'm really surprised I was able to let that go, actually. I'm really surprised that bigger thing I actually didn't obsess over. And I think it's because of the small ways I've practiced with the die.
Let's roll the dice. Like like give me an example of what you'd roll the dice.
Okay, like for example, I do kind of want a second cookie. But this whole time, I've been like, am I going to really eat the second cookie? Like, I already dropped crumbs on myself the first time, and then I'm talking and chewing. So I've been debating this whole time. And this is the type of thing where I'm just going to keep thinking about it. But now I could just roll the die. So
okay, let's roll it.
I could say, if it's odd, I'm going to eat the cookie. If it's even, I won't eat the cookie.
Okay.
If it's odd, I'll eat the cookie.
Let's see.
It's 6. It's even. I'm not going to eat the cookie.
No.
And
I thought even was eat the cookie.
No, even was, I don't know, play it back. I think it was not eat the cookie. But either way, like, I don't care that much about this decision, so I'm comfortable with that. And also, who cares?
Can we do one more roll?
Because the second you stop recording, I'm going to eat the cookie anyways.
Okay, let's roll it. Let's roll it one more time. I'm curious
Ready?
as to what
you
it
want
says.
me to eat the cookie?
I want you to eat the cookie.
5.
You eat the cookie.
Yeah, I eat the cookie.
I love it.
But here's another thing about the die. I'll tell you.
Okay, tell me.
Another reason it's helpful is it helps you get in touch with your intuition. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because sometimes I can't decide on something, and I'm so convinced that I'm on the fence. I'm so convinced I'm indifferent. And then I roll it, and then I feel a pang of disappointment. And that means that I wanted the opposite of what the die said.
And you went against your intuition.
Correct. So now I'm going to eat the cookie.
I think you should eat the cookie. This is a collagen
This is the
one.
collagen one?
Yes.
And also I'm going to eat the cookie because I want to support a friend's cookie. You know what I'm saying? The friend made the cookie.
You're so cute.
You know what I mean? Which one? This is a collagen.
This is a beauty collagen cocktail powder inside the cookie.
Eat this and turn into Beyonce? You heard it here first.
Your skin is gonna glow. It's actually good for your joints.
Am I gonna look like you?
You're so cute. It's a one way to get the collagen in you. And I love eating cookies. I'm a cookies and tea girl.
It's so good.
Right? With a nice cup of chai.
What is that one? What's that?
This is the collagen. It's a rhubarb collagen mix with chlorophyll, almond powder, almond flour, and it's got a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of coconut sugar.
This is why you're hot. This is why you're beautiful. You eat these 10 a day?
Well, I wish I could eat 10 a day, but I make them I work with a company called Chaman that makes the cookies for me. And we follow a recipe, and it's just...
So you're dropping the crumbs, chewing while talking. All the things I said were going to happen are happening. But that's okay.
I'm just gonna have to send them to you regularly so you can use them in your journal writing time.
Oh my God.
While you're
with my
drinking your chai and your journal writing.
With my CCFT.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, with your, yes. I want to learn. I want to get into drinking that tea. I remember talking to Radhi about it.
You should know.
No, it's very good for bloating.
I'm a really fussy eater.
You are.
And for me to like these cookies.
That makes me so happy. I also have some kulfi for you before we leave. Yes.
I love it here.
It's dairy-free kulfi, so I know
course it
because
is.
my favorite.
Is it vitamin C kulfi? What is it?
It's not
B12
vitamin.
kulfi? What is it? Magnesium kulfi.
There's.
It's got to be something
Oh
in
my
there.
God! You just gave me an idea. Maybe I need to put some magnesium in that.
I mean, it's very on
It
brand
could
for
be a
you.
nighttime kulfi eating thing. My favorite dessert is kulfi, and I just obviously cannot eat kulfi. Otherwise, it would make me really sick. So I wanted to create something that was delicious and of my Indian heritage and a dessert I could have once in a while. But this is like super healthy kulfi, so I can't wait for you
You're
to try
so
it.
cool. You're so cool, and you've taught me so much. You really have.
Thank you.
I will also say this. There's no teleprompter over here for me, and I'm not being paid to say this, but I will say, the first time I met you at Jay's house, Jay Shetty's house, and you
Yes.
came up to me and introduced yourself, and then you're like, you should come over to my place and I'll give you a treatment. And you should know I get offered a lot of treatments, and there's a lot of people trying to do facials. I mean, there's a lot of people trying to do something to me, convincing me my body needs X, Y, Z. That's been a big part of my journey. You know, I've had a sleep doctor, I had another doctor, people putting patches on me or like saying all types of things about what I need. But I did always feel like I really wanted a woman to be my doctor, because I do feel, and I don't feel this way statistically, and you know this more than anyone, our bodies are so understudied, and in terms of medicine are so undervalued. They've been undervalued for so long in terms of studies, in terms of like all studies are done for men's bodies for the most part.
Yeah.
But I always felt like when I went to a doctor, I was like, there seems to be this vagueness with which you would treat me that doesn't feel specific, and it doesn't feel like I don't feel seen. And the first time I ever came to your house, I literally just came for a facial, a time lift. And you were like, do you have your blood results? And I gave you my blood results, and you went through my whole blood work with me. And you were finding things and telling me things where I was like, wow, I felt so seen, because you were like, that's why your body really hurts that way. Or like, that's why your sleep is like that. And it could be this and it could be that. And even though we're in the process of figuring it out, you're the first person that ever said, I see that, and it could be because of this, and we're going to actually figure it out. I've never felt like my health could be figured out before I met you. No one has ever made me feel like things about my body could be figured out. Because even when I had cysts on my ovaries, I remember years ago, I was like dying of pain, waited in the emergency room for like 7 hours. So scared. And I remember them being like, you have cysts on your ovaries. And I remember the 2 male doctors looking at me and verbatim, they were like, so we can go in there and see like what the situation is, but I'll let you know, like, it's pretty uncomfortable and it's going to be pretty like not great. And I was like, of course, because I'm a woman and you don't have the technology and the things to make it not terrible for me probably.
Right.
And also you probably don't want to do it. And also you're supposed to be making me feel comfortable, not scared probably right now. You know what I mean? And so I just feel like this is a huge issue. So I really do applaud you, because I remember going home that day being like, I actually feel like I could figure out my sleep. Like I could figure out why my body feels this way. Never felt that way before.
Thank you, Lilly. That means so much to me, because that is my goal, is to change the healthcare for women. I'm in the process, as you know, of releasing my book next year, The Menopause Balance. And I want to encourage women in their perimenopause years, because it's not just about menopause, which is just one day, really. It's like Christmas. It happens once.
Yeah.
It's the perimenopause leading up to the menopause that is the most difficult. And, you know, it's women in their 30s.
Which I will say, before 2 years ago, had never even heard the term perimenopause. Never
What?
taught about it in school. Never
Yes.
no doctor has ever mentioned it to me. It was just my cousin. And when she watches it, she's going to laugh, because 2 years ago, my cousin was like, perimenopause is a thing. And now every day she's just talking about perimenopause, but she's like, it's a thing with the sleep and the body and the fatigue and all the stuff.
Oh my God, I just had a prediction. Something just came to me.
Okay, what is it?
I see you doing a movie
Okay.
about this in the future when you get to that stage.
that seems
Can
very
you
on brand for
imagine
me.
how funny that would be?
I might be in that stage right now. We should talk.
We should talk, because the whole thing surrounding perimenopause to menopause, there's some really funny things that happen to our body.
Yeah.
And just like putting that in a movie, I saw the way you did the Doing It.
Yeah.
I could imagine the sequel to that.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, we need to talk.
I can't wait for some man to call that niche.
Okay.
Oh, 50% of the population deals with that? Niche.
Yeah,
Niche.
it's only half the population,
Yeah, exactly.
right? It's only half the population. I've built my entire clinical philosophy and even wrote a book called Younger Skin Starts in the Gut around one simple truth. If your gut isn't optimal, nothing else works. Genova Diagnostics GI Effects test is the gold standard in functional stool testing, mapping your microbiome, digestion, inflammation, and nutrient absorption with clinical precision. It's a crappy job, but someone has to do it. And no one does it better than Genova. Visit genovaconnect.com and use my code HEALTHYDOC15 for 15% off your first stool test. The one thing I wanted to ask you before we leave this podcast, I wanted to ask you, what is your love language?
Ooh.
Do you know all the love languages?
I do. I'm an avid
I knew you would know them
believer
by
of the
heart.
love languages, yes. For as long as I can remember, my top love language, and this, I don't think is going to surprise anyone, is acts of service.
Wow.
It is my number one love
Give
language.
us an example.
I think an example of what that looks like in practice. I have a really, really busy day, and my schedule is crazy, and I come home and someone has made me dinner. That would make me cry. If I was really struggling during a day and like I had no time to, I don't know, pick up my dog from wherever, and someone was like, hey, I'm gonna pick up the dog for you. It's just my schedule is so crazy and my mind is moving a million miles an hour, and I think the word that's really important to me is always feeling like I'm part of a team. Feeling like I'm part of a team is really important to me, and so anyone that can make me feel like they got my back and they can help me and like reduce the load a bit because it's crazy up here,
Yes.
really, it means a lot to me. I've almost cried when people have cooked me dinner before, solely because I'm like, oh my God, this is like so helpful to me, and I really was hungry and I would not have had a dinner otherwise. A close second now is, and it never used to be the case, is physical touch. And I mean that in a very affectionate, not even sexual way. I mean it in like, it means a lot to me. And it might be because now in my life where I am, because of my nervous system, I do have moments of anxiety. Yeah. It means a lot for someone to like hold my hand or like put their hand on my leg or like give me a hug. Those things really mean a lot to me because it's just like a little bit of a grounding exercise.
I love that for you, manifesting that all to come to you
so
a
much.
millionfold.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate that.
it's funny, that's the acts of service is my first love
Really?
language as well.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me,
Maybe
that's the
it's
most
trauma somewhere in there are two acts of service. Just help me do things. Help me do
we're
things so I
like,
can do more things.
No, I think it just shows that people care, and you know,
I feel seen. That's
you
one
feel
of the, 'cause when
seen.
people buy me gifts, I don't really feel seen. You know, of course I love quality time, but I feel like if someone is able, especially without me saying it, if someone is able to be like, I recognize without you even saying it that this would be helpful to you and would reduce stress in your day.
Yes.
That makes me feel very seen.
I love that. Yeah. Well, so I want to give you, I know it's a gift, but it's kind of an act of service in a
Okay,
way.
what is this?
Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
So
it says specimen collection. I want everyone to know that this box says specimen collection and I'm stressed.
So what am I known for? I mean, it's so embarrassing, but everybody now knows me as the poop doctor, right?
Okay. I didn't know that. Is that a thing?
It is a thing. I
Okay.
did a poop Instagram video and I got 10 million views
okay.
on it,
Word.
talking about different. So most of your immune system is in your gut.
If you're gonna give me a box of shit right now, I'm gonna.
I am pretty much giving you a box of what will be your own
my God.
poop. And so we all poop.
Okay.
And so this is a really cool gut microbiome test.
Okay.
That's going to measure everything in your gut, from who's living in there to the good bacteria. Yeah, there are things that are living in your
Okay.
gut, and all the good bacteria,
Okay.
and how you're absorbing your nutrients, your fats, your vitamins, all that stuff. It's a 3-day collection.
3 days.
I know, we can combine it into 2 days.
Is
I'll
this the
tell
thing
you
where I
more.
have to put my poop in my fridge? It is, isn't it?
Well, you have to put it in a container.
In the fridge.
Yeah, so we can go over that. So I know I have you doing a hormone urine test right now.
Correct.
So I'm also going to collect.
So I should just sell my toilet. I'm never using my toilet again. You have me doing a urine test and a poop test.
Yes.
This is to be in my fridge.
Yeah, well, it's not going in the toilet. It's going in here before.
Understood. That's what I'm
hits the
saying. I should
toilet.
just sell my toilet. I don't need it anymore. I don't need it anymore.
Light bulb.
Yeah. Okay, I will happily poop in this box for you.
Thank you. It's poop in a box, and it's going to really, at this age, in our, mid 30s and onwards, we have to fix our gut microbiome because that's going to predict everything.
Okay.
Your immune system, your skin.
I trust you blindly.
Your hormones.
I will put whatever you want in that box.
I can't
Thank
wait.
you.
I can't wait to.
Thank you so much.
So this is my act of service to you.
Thank you so much. And I feel very seen.
You feel very
me and my gut feel very seen. Thank you.
You're welcome. Lily, thank you so much for being on this
Thank you.
podcast. There are not very many human beings like you on this planet.
I appreciate you. And thank you for letting me chat your ear off. I know I give long-winded answers. It's because
No.
I'm a nerd and I care.
This was literally one of the best podcasts. Like you are so, I feel seen. I feel like you have given the world so much, and there's just so much more to you than, people get to see. And I think your psychology degree is really, really kicked off.
You heard it here first, Mom and Dad.
I just feel like you're very intentional with everything that you do. And I feel like I wish we could clone you and have more people like this on the planet.
Oh my God, the poor planet. I don't know about that. But thank you. I appreciate this.
I would love more people like you. Thank you again for being on the Healthy Dog podcast. So excited. Lilly Singh, she was here.
Bye. I'm going to go eat Gofi now.